How's it going, YouTube? DoctorC3 here. We are officially back with the CPL Season 2 Week 2 recap. Now, if you guys are excited, make sure to hit the like button down below and subscribe if you are new, as literally any single subscriber makes the channel that much greater. So, with all of that said, all the shameless plugs down, I want to just jump in by saying I really don't feel that well today. I have some tea with me, and I'm going to try and go through these recaps as best as possible to get it to you, on the provided day that it's supposed to be. And yeah, I think with all that said, it'd be a good idea to jump into the week. So as you can tell, there's a new layout for these recap videos. Like I said, I'm going to be trying different things each week, and then by week 3, week 4, we should be able to figure out what style is best and what you guys like the most. So I figured it's best to display what they could have brought and what they did bring and have it play out like that, and maybe it adds a different perspective to these recaps and people can formulate their own opinions a little better. And yeah, so we're going to be playing through these in chronological order of when they happened. So the first game submitted, of course, this week was the Roman Empoleons facing off against one of our new coaches, Azazel, and the Fall Arbor Flames. Now, I did watch these matches, but it has been quite some time, so you're gonna have to bear with me here. And of course, I don't really remember every detail of each match. I just know that there was a lot of stuff going on. So, looking at the lineups here, we have Fall Arbor Flames on the left and Aaron on the right, of course. So we're gonna see it from the Fall Arbor Flames side now. I think in terms of the teams brought, Aaron has a powerhouse of a team, and it kind of matches up a little bit better on paper. Of course, he does have that Vaporeon, which is going to be able to hardwall things like that Blastoise, and things like Noivern, who hit on the special side. Not going to be able to hit that Vaporeon, of course. But there are things too that he has to watch out for. That Scissor, he has very limited answers aside from Pyroar, so he's got to be careful there. I mean, of course, Zapdos can always put in the work, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see from both ends of the field. If I had to predict who was packing Stealth Rocks and stuff, obviously on Aaron's side, if he's going to have a rocker, it's going to be that Mega Mawile, right? Maybe some Sucker Punch variant of Mega Mawile going to be brought. Just based on the build alone, it looks like something like a Scarf Lele or a Scarf Hydreigon is there with like a defensive Zapdos, and Vaporeon is its core. Pyro could be Scarfed, but I don't really see a necessity as to why it'd be Scarfed. Scissor's not going to outpace it unless it's Scarfed, and Bullet Punch is going to be the most preferred answer of getting some damage on it regardless. I mean, you could try to outpace Mega Lopunny. That'd be a reason to Scarf it, but I'm not seeing it. Same with the Weavile. I don't know. Maybe he does bring a Scarf, and I'm just completely wrong on that end. But I think Azazel's side of the field, bringing that Clefable, is going to be a defensive nuisance. Going to be able to take some hits a little bit better. Hopefully he brought like a specially defensive variant, as it looks like that's what most of Aaron's hitters are going to be rocking, some special type attacks, unless he's bringing a mixed Hydreigon. So I think it's going to be Rocks for Rocks lead, if I had to guess, with Scissor and Mega Mawile. I could see Aaron trying to get up the terrain to block Mega Scissor's priority and Weavile's priority. So that could be a lead on his end. Let's jump right into it. Again, if you hear me making some weird throat noises in the back, I'm sorry. I got some tea with me, and I'm going to be doing the best that I can here. Got a lot of matches to go through. So we see the Tapu Lele. That's of course going to be the Tapu Lele coming out on the Rome side, and Robert, that most likely is a Clefable name. Shiny Clefable at that matter. So it looks like Robert's going to want to try and get up at Stealth Rocks. Maybe he's going to try and hit this Tapu Lele for some damage, and we're going to see what type of Tapu Lele set this is. It goes straight for the Psychic. That does about over half, which leads us to believe that maybe Clefable is a defensive variant. That did a lot of damage. If not, Tapu Lele is just a beast. It might be a Specs Lele. So he switches out, goes into Clamps. That is the Mega Scissor. Going to be able to take the Psychic a little bit better, but as you can see, even a resisted Psychic of that caliber does nearly half. He can't Bullet Punch through the Psychic terrain, so we're going to see what he goes for. He does decide to go for Russo. It may be a defensive variant, got some HP investment. That'd be insane if it still does that much. Forgets about the Psychic terrain. That's going to be a crucial play, as it's going to be able to let Tapu Lele weaken the scissor to a point where he either has to return it or sack it off, and he decides to keep it. He's thinking maybe he can roost up later on in the match for free. He goes out into Weavile here, taking the psychic hit. That probably should have been the play first out of the gate, but I mean, to each their own. He probably knows. Yeah, there's a switch out. Good play for the Weavile, of course. He probably knew at that point he was choiced into something and he had to switch out. After doing some calcs, so Mega Ball is going to Mega Evolve. We're going to see, is he going to be able to just go straight for an Iron Head, or is he going to try and bluff it and go for the Stealth Rocks? If I were him, I would try to get up Stealth Rocks. As we do see Weavile goes for the taunt. I was incredibly wrong. He should have just clicked Play Rough. That was a good read on Aaron's end there, knowing that maybe the taunt might be coming. Maybe he figured Weavile wasn't a threat, even if it had something like Low Kick or something just hard to hit it. But Mummy's in. Now, Mummy's a little bit hard to deal with. If it's rocking that Eviolite, of course, it's going to be taking hits really well, and we're going to see the burn. So it's going to be one of those Will-O-Wisp Mummies, most likely going to have the Pain Split, but he decides he wants to keep it as healthy as possible. Doesn't want to reveal his tricks too early. Goes out into Blastoise here to take the Dark Pulse. Good play. Knows that he is a variant that can take a few. We do see the U-turn come out. Even if it wasn't a mixed variant of that Hydreigon there, U-turn is a common move just for pivoting momentum. So now we have Vaporeon versus Blastoise. Blastoise doesn't want to be in this matchup because Vaporeon is going to be able to just weaken it eventually, especially if it has Toxic. So we're going to see what type of set this Vaporeon's rocking. He's going to go for Wish. So he is a Wish. I don't know if he's Protect, but he would be a Wish set to pass out into things like Tapu Lele and Hydreigon. Good tech for the Roman Empoleons. But he's going to try and keep some force switching out with this Hydreigon. Making sure that Mummy doesn't stay in. So a lot of switches. High turn game. In turn 14, there's 40 turns total. So gonna be in for a long one here, folks. I predict a lot of pivoting momentum, just going back into Vaporeon, wishing, switching back out. This Mummy, of course, I think is gonna be a big problem. He doesn't really have much that can two-shot it and handle it well, and Pain Split's going to be recovering a lot just because it has a low HP stat, I believe a base 50. I know Dust Noir is a little bit higher, or maybe even the same, so might be even be 40. Not too sure at this point. So we're going to see just this Will-O-Wisping shenanigans here. Uvape now could have Heal Bell, and Aaron, coach of the Roman Empoleons, isn't going to want to reveal that just yet, as he just keeps U-turning out, forcing this Mummy out. The Hex is going to be here, so he's a Willow's Hex set. I wonder how much damage that was going to do and what it was utilized for in the first place. Maybe something for a Tapu Lele. That's why I kind of like having the roster here. You can kind of see where the sets build out in their entirety and why they decided to bring them. So we're going to see the Nightshade. That's going to do a decent amount. We are playing at level 50, but that Vaporeon, it has a high HP stat, a very high HP stat. So he's going to be passing some mean wishes off. I believe it's like 110. I know it's above 100. Something to check while all these pivoting switches is. And he decides to make the play now. Goes into Hugh Hefner, predicting the Hydreigon. So good momentum move for Ball Arbor, as it's gonna force him to go into Tapu Lele, maybe predicting a fake out, trying to get the Psychic Terrain up once more. We're gonna see what Azazel wants to do here. So he stays in, he Mega Evolves. We're gonna see, does Rome predict it right with the fake out, or does he go for just like a mean return, trying to get some damage off? Goes for the Power Up Punch instead. Not gonna be able to take out Tapu Lele in the first strike, but we have a +1 Hugh Hefner. He was fearing this thing to be Choice Scarfed, as we do know it was locked in earlier. So good switches in for Fall Arbor, and Shell Shock's going to be able to live to the Signal Beam coming out, predominantly for that Tapu Lele. Good tech, knowing it's going to be able to take 2 psychics, especially if it was scarfed in psychic terrain. So we do see both coaches are now tied 5-5 as the agility comes up for Zapdos. So to set up Zapdos here, and I don't know if he's trying to go for a game right here. We see Roost and agility going to be the fastest thing even when Mega Lopunny comes back out. Sorry about that. So it's a agility baton pass set. He's going to go out into Mawile. So, wow. Rome is bringing out the hidden tech. So, of course, we do allow baton passing with speed, but not speed and other stat boosts combined. Speedy Mawile on the field. Shell Shock is going to go down. Yeah, Shell Shock's going to go down. We see Mummy come in. He knows he's going to be able to take one of anything here and try and go for the Will-O-Wisp if I had to guess. There's the Play Rough. Yep, and the Will-O-Wisp does connect, so Mawile is burned. Its longevity is now hindered. He's just going to try and knock out this Mummy as best as possible. Oh, mispredicts with the Destiny Bond here. So we do see its entire set here with Dusclops. It's a Pain Split. I don't know if we actually saw Pain Split or not, but spoilers, it has Pain Split. I do remember that. Destiny Ball, Will-O-Wisp, and of course Hex. Does a sizable amount of chuck to his Zapdos, but Zapdos is just going to try and roost, maybe agility, get that baton passing up again, or try and set up on its own. We haven't seen any of its attacking moves. We see Volt Switch. Wow, baton pass and Volt Switch on the same set. I don't know about that one, Aaron. I'm going to be quite honest. If you're going to be setting up and you already have Baton Pass, I don't see what Volt Switch was there to do. Maybe hit the Blastoise. But yeah, it really only hits the Blastoise. Super effective. And a lot of his Pokemon do resist it on Azazel's team. So, Hugh Hefner comes out. We do see the Fake Out. So that was a good opportunity for him the first time going for Power Up Punch. And he is faster than this Hydreigon, so he's going to get the +1 boost with Hugh Hefner. We are starting to round out this game. We are 34 turns left. It is a +1 Mega Lopunny, and I don't think Vaporeon is going to want to live a return here if he has it. It just goes for a second Power-Up Punch, not even fearing the Skull Burn. Haze is going to be Vaporeon set, ensuring that Mega Lopunny doesn't set up like it does. Now, if I were him, I'd go for another Power-Up Punch, as he does decide to do that. Not going to be able to knock him out. As we do see Rome trying to go for the Scald Burn, doesn't get it though. A little bit unfortunate in his end. If I were him, I'd probably just want to make sure that I keep spamming Haze, because now we have a +2 Mega Lopunny, and I believe the rest of the team goes down. Mufasa is going to come in, so we're going to see if it is scarfed, if it is EV'd properly or not, and it looks like it is not going to be able to outspeed this Hugh Hefner, so that Drain Punch bring it all the way back up to full, and I don't believe Rome is going to be able to take it out with the Zapdos in one hit, or going to be able to take it out with, I believe its last mon is Tapu Lele? What was his last mon at this point? Mega Mawile? Yeah, this Hugh Hefner just putting in the work. One of those things there, yep, it was the Mawile. So Mega Lopunny, of course, is going to be able to seal the deal here. Even a Sucker Punch isn't going to knock it out if he decides to have it. But Drain Punch is just going to be a clean one-shot after +2. So, good game from both coaches. Azazel really showing the true power of Mega Lopunny in that matchup. And Rome and Empoleons had the upper advantage in the first half and seemed to drop it just a little bit. Not too bad. I had to say it was a great game overall. I do know that there was some controversy. Apparently, Aaron's Pyroar was supposed to outspeed because it was Choice Scarfed. So, just one of those things where, you know, you got to make sure that you bring the right spread, because Mega Lopunny is one of those threatening Pokemon. So we're going to jump right into the second match of the week, and that is going to be, it looks like it is going to be Enigmatic versus Atlanta, so we're going to cut right to that. Alright, so up on dock now, we have the Enigmatic Elecmortars coached by Mr. Carbonite versus Pip in the Atlanta Arcanines. Now, looking at this team, it's I have to say, it's going to be one of those exciting matchups here. We have the Kartana. If you guys watched from last week, Kartana always seems to put in the work here. Staraptor and Incineroar, just one of those stellar lineups, especially too on Pip's side. He has the Tapu Koko, Alolan Raichu core, and oh man, this is just going to be a great matchup. Now, I'm a little bit surprised from Enigmatic not bringing something like the Mega Altaria, as it does kind of handle Pip's team a little bit better than something like the Rabombi. But to each their own. We know that probably Rabombi, since it's coming, judging by Carbonite's team, it is a little bit slower, so maybe he's thinking if I can get up Sticky Webs, I'll be in a better position. And of course, Pip too, you can see he brought the Ninjask, so we're going to be expecting maybe some Baton Pass agility, or not agility, but speed boost, Baton Pass shenanigans with that. So, if I had to predict, Nihilego is a good stealth rocker on Pip's end. Carbonite, Nidoking is going to be his stealth rocker, and it'll be interesting to see. I can't really predict the leads in this matchup. Tapu Koko probably is a safe lead on Pip's end because it outspeeds the entirety of Carbonite's team barring Scarfers, and it can just Volt Switch and gain momentum, while Carbonite may be trying to lead with something that can take an electric type hit a little better. Excuse me 1 second. But yeah, we're going to see at the end of the day how these coaches fare up against each other. So, jumping right into it, we're going to see the nice stance coming out from Pip here. Gotta love the trainer stances in Sun and Moon. And Calgon's going to come out, which is the Rotom Heat. So interesting, looking to get some momentum, as Incineroar is going to be the lead here, trying to get an Intimidate on something. Just making sure maybe that Diggersby doesn't lead, as a Toxic is just going to come out and really hinder the longevity of this Incineroar firsthand. And as you can see, it takes the Darkest Lariat pretty well, but he decides he wants to switch out and go out into Lily, which is his drawing a blank here, Nihilego. So Nihilego is going to be able to force up the switch on the possible Earth Power, as Nidoking does come in. Nidoking easily forces out Nihilego just due to his sheer force monstrous ability, as a Stealth Rock comes. So good prediction on his end, getting up his rocks early on, preventing the pivot coming out from this Rotom Heat. Rotom Heat, we're going to see if it packs Defog or not in this matchup, as Poison Jab isn't going to be able to two-shot, especially after that leftover recovery for Calgon here. So he just keeps hard switching. He kind of has to because he can't click Volt Switch, as Lily decides to come right back in, predicting the Poison Jab again. Yep, there's the Poison Jab coming out. Not going to do that much due to its typing. And we're going to see if it forces out this Nidoking. It does. So Slowking comes out, probably taking the potential Earth Power coming its way. And we see the Psychic. Oh, wow. So good tech. Good tech for sure. Good read for Enigmatic, making the safe play, knowing that Slowking can take the Psychic and the Earth Power and what have you. As Tapu Koko definitely comes out. And that's like a double-edged sword, right? Because Slowking doesn't really want to take a Tapu Koko hit. And wow, that did a lot of damage to Tapu Koko. That leads me to believe that it has some special attack investment, if I had to guess, as this Tapu Koko is just straight going to go for the Electrium Z, if I had to guess. I can't really remember what Z crystal that they have. The Twinkle Tower Tackle, Farium Z. Not going to be able to one-shot this Nidoking, but is going to make sure that a second Dazzling Gleam will be able to knock it out. So, Pip staying on the upper hand here, getting rid of this monster that is Nidoking, as Kartana decides to come out now. So, very interesting thing. Leads me to believe that Kartana is Scarf, just by the way it comes out. Typically, Tapu Kokos outspeed Kartanas, just in my experience here, as a Leaf Blade is going to be able to one-shot, wow, one-shot this Rotom Heat. So now we're in a predicament where a Speed Boost is going to come out, or not a Speed Boost, but an Attack Boost rather, as we have a +1 Kartana. It's locked into Leaf Blade, most likely. And we're going to see if this Alolan Raichu forces it out. It does. So Surge, Surfer, Alolan Raichu. We're going to see if there's a Hidden Power coming out, maybe a Hidden Power Fire. There is the Hidden Power, not very effective, so we do know that it's Fire against the Incineroar. Way to play it safe for Enigmatic, trying to take the momentum here, as Pip is just making these switches. getting in this threat that is Nihilego and trying to force Enigmatic to take some damage, while on the other hand, there is Rocks going to be able to come out, and the Darkest Lariat, I believe it was, just took out that Nihilego. I'm a little bit surprised by that. I know Nihilego is especially defensive, so, you know, maybe it really didn't take the hit as well as I thought it would. But Diggersby is going to come out, and that's most likely going to knock out Incineroar with an Earthquake. Going to be able to outspeed, of course, too. Didn't set up with Swords Dance or anything, so we're going to see if it's Rocking Quick Attack, if it has any tech for Kartana here. As Kartana is most likely going to make this Diggersby switch out. Yep, we see the switch. Goes back out into Cappuccino, which is the Tapu Koko. Interesting thing, I wonder if he's just sacking Tapu Koko at this point. Yep, I think he's just deciding to sack Tapu Koko. As the Beast Boost comes out, we see the attack raise again. And Pancakes, I don't know if it's going to be able to want to take the hit. It is going to be faster than Kartana, so it's most likely going to force it out. We see the switch into Beyblade. The first time that Hitmontop is dropping on the field here. Nice and shiny Hitmontop. It's probably especially defensive to take the hit, as that Thunderbolt still does a massive amount of damage. Wow. Just showing why Alolan Raichu under Electric Terrain is one of those threats. But we do see the Fake Out, just trying to get a little bit of chip damage, trying to stall out some turns, make sure Electric Terrain gets worn off, because once that gets worn off, it looks like Kartana here is going to be able to put in the work, now that especially Alolan Raichu is weakened to the point where it can't take another hit, right? So Thunderbolt going to knock out Beyblade. A little unfortunate for Enigmatic, and the Electric Terrain is gone, so Kartana is most likely going to come back ridden. We see Kartana come back in, and if Enigmatic clicks the right move here, 3 mons left, I think he should be able to sweep. Yep, Leaf Blade comes out, going to be able to lock himself into that. +1 boost in the attack is most likely going to knock out the Ninjask, and it's going to be able to knock out the Diggersby here. Ninjask taking 50% of those rocks. It's a crucial move there. But he's gonna protect, right? He's gonna try and get a speed boost off. He's gonna try an agility baton pass maybe into something, or maybe he might have something to knock out Kartana. No, he has the wow, a special Ninjask critical hit. Don't really know if that mattered or not. It might have, but at the end of the day, Bug Buzz was going to be able to two-shot, and Quick Attack had to have been able to knock out at that point. So it looks like Kartana here is going to be able to clean late game, as my DS is dying. So hopefully we get this last move off. So Leaf Blade coming out, Kartana putting in the work. On Atlena's end, it was a very hard matchup. I'm surprised Kieran Black didn't come, as it did threaten a lot of Pokemon. Especially if it was rocking the special set. I mean, Altaria didn't want to take it too well. It knocks out Xurkitree and Incineroar. But also, I do respect the Ninjask play, knowing that speed priority is a crucial aspect of the game. So I'm going to tip my hat off to both coaches, as even though it might have been a 3-0 in Carbonite's favor, it was still one of those matches that, like, it could have gone any way had there been one wrong prediction. So I'm going to grab a charger here, we'll jump into the third match, and I'll be right back. Third up on dock, we have the Seattle Seadras facing off against the Nasu Nidokings, and this was the third match submitted this week, and it's one of those matches where we see a lot of interesting Pokemon come from both sides of the field, especially Seattle Seadras. If you look necessarily at his team, and had to pick it out of the lineup, it's definitely the B team aspect of his current roster, right? We don't see Infernape. Actually, Infernape hasn't been brought yet. We don't see the Gardevoir. We don't see the Mega Venusaur, nor Tornadus, and even Guzzlord. So, bringing a lot of new Pokemon that didn't come week 1, as opposed to Nasu Nidokings bringing his Celesteela, Medicham, and Zygarde. And of course, Blacephalon. No Florges though, a little bit interesting. Maybe he was fearing too many hits from Cobalion might be able to take it out. I thought maybe Florges would fare well against things like Guzzlord, and I know Infernape gets Gunk Shot, but I think under the right predictions he should be able to 1v1 it. and Mega Venusaur. I can respect the play at the end of the day. And Rotom-Mow. So if I had to guess, I'd say Rotom-Mow is most likely the defogger here, not Empoleon, as Empoleon is most likely going to be the one rocking Stealth Rocks on the team. And Shempity here, he's got, you know, 2 rockers in Cobalion, Torkoal, I guess 3 in Blissey too. It'll be interesting to see who he's packing rocks with. I don't know if Swampert gets Stealth Rocks or not. I might be wrong on that, but just crazy team here. Yeah, I mean, from both ends of the field, I'd say a safe lead on John's side is definitely that Celesteela, as Luxray is the only thing that can really harm it in 2 shots. Excuse me. And if I had to guess, from Shempity's side, maybe fearing the Celesteela lead, he'd lead Luxray, or maybe he tried to set up with not set up, but get up his rocks, or even get up the sun if Torkoal's bringing the sun. I don't know if Decidueye is rocking maybe something like Synthesis or Solar Beam, so be interesting. Let's jump into it. I'm excited. I hope you guys are too. So I'd like to make a note before this match starts that other coaches in the league, unfortunately, there's been one match where 2 coaches couldn't be able to make it, as one had to go out for the weekend. So we'll cover that at the end, of course, when we look at the season documents and we pull all that stuff up. So we do see Cobalion come out, gonna Volt Switch. We see it does very pitiful damage to the Celesteela, making us believe that it is a special defensive variant of Celesteela. As Luxray comes in, we do see he just goes turn 1 for the substitute. So we see the burn from the Flame Orb come out, so Luxray is most likely the Guts set. It's going to go for a Wild Charge, try and force out this Celesteela, as he is one of those sub-monsters, most likely rocking Leech Seed. Yep. Sub-Leech Seed is a common set on Celesteela, as it just like keeps its longevity up like no other. Seattle going to be able to force out, or getting forced out, going on a Torkoal here, as we do see the Drought come out. So the Sun is most likely going to harm this Celesteela if he decides to go for it. But we see Protect, Sub, Leech Seed on Celesteela. Wow. So mono attacking, if even attacking at all. Pretty crazy. And this Torkoal is going to definitely be threatened out by the Zygarde 50 switch. Lava Plume is going to do not enough, especially in the Sun too. Wow, that did very pitiful damage. So he's going to switch out, go on to Fletcher, which is Decidueye. So Decidueye in the Sun could be dangerous depending on what set it is, as we do see the Dragon Dance come straight out for the ZG50 in Dragon Dance Outrage. So he's not even worried about locking himself in. Wow, crazy set here. So Outrage is gonna just threaten Seattle's entire 6 that he brought. Marshall Tucker looks like it's gonna be that Swampert coming in. I don't know if it's gonna want to take 2 Outrages. It is most certainly not. We're gonna see what type of set this Swampert is, if he is a Scarf variant or what have you. So, wow, this Zygarde goes for a second Dragon Dance. Waterfall not gonna be able to take it out, and whatever move he goes for, yep, 1,000 Arrows is most likely going to take out nearly any Pokemon on the Seattle side of the field at this point. Fletcher's going to come in. We know he can't take an Outrage. We're going to see if he locks himself into it yet again. As he just decides to go for the Shadow Sneak, not going to be able to knock out that Zygarde. Wow, that's impressive how well Zygarde took that. I don't know if he's rocking HP investment, but at the end of the day, I would be shocked if I was Seattle, as I thought a Shadow Sneak would definitely knock it out as well. And, oh man, finally that Zygarde goes down, but on Seattle's end of the field, he has some very weakened Pokemon, and this Celesteela is just going to keep coming back in. We're going to see if there's a Volt Switch. Nope, just straight hard switches, as Celesteela is most likely going to go for that substitute. Goes right back into Torkoal now that Zygarde's gone. Not too much else threatens Torkoal out from the Nasu side, as we do see the Leech Seed. So if Torkoal's rocking Rapid Spin, he's going to be able to get away those, the grips of the Leech Seed. As we do see, it tries to go for a sub, protecting itself. There is a Lava Plume. That's most likely going to break the sub in the Sun, even though he is a specially defensive variant of Celesteela. So We do know Seattle does rock the Fire MZ Crystal, so I wonder if this Torkoal, we haven't seen leftovers or anything on it. So we're going to see, maybe is he rocking Z Lava Plume? That'd be very interesting. If he's trying to weaken this Celesteela, it's probably his best bet if he could be able to break the grips of this subbing monster. It's faster than Torkoal, which kind of leads Shempity in a predicament here, as Nasu's just staying up with the pressure, staying, you know what, Celesteela, it can put in a lot of work in this game, and as long as I just keep it healthy and, you know, just keep subbing and leech seeding and protecting, I'll be fine. So Seattle finally breaks it and says, you know what, I'm going into Mufasa predicting the protect. I'm tired of this leech seed recovery he's getting, and Wild Charge is just going to straight up one-shot this Celesteela. Luxray is typically slept on the League format, but we just saw why Mufasa here can put in the finest of work. As Grapefruit, the Metacham is going to be coming out, nice and shiny Metacham. I understand the nickname now. And it looks like it's going to be able to just come in and clean game at this point. I'm not really too sure how well Blissy's going to be wanting to take a hit here, as Torkoal, I'm sure, isn't going to be able to be taking, you know, 2 if I had to guess. I know Torkoal is defensive, but we'll see. Torkoal does decide to come in, going to set up the sun one more time. As this Metacham looks like it's going to be able to clean house, if I had to guess. There's the high jump kick. It is going to straight up one-shot this Torkoal. Baratheon comes right back out. That is a Cobalion. Cobalion is going to be able to outspeed this Mega Metacham, as he just decides to go for a Volt Switch, getting some chip damage off. It goes out into Blissey. If I had to predict, he's probably going for a high jump kick yet again. Yep, we do see the high jump kick, and that just straight up one-shots the Blissey. And Mega Metacham just showing why it's one of those Pokemon that prior, you know, a few years ago in League format, Mega Metacham was slept on. And now we see why it's a first rounder for sure. So Iron Head trying to go for the flinch, gets a critical hit, and does get the flinch, so it's going to be able to force out this Grapefruit. Yep. That was a good play on Nasu's end, keep him up momentum and ensuring that that is his win condition if he gets it back in. He's going to be able to try and fake out as much as possible. As Empoleon, I don't know if it's going to be able to take a fighting move, but we don't see any fighting coverage come out for the Seadras, so it looks like it is going to be able to 1v1 this Cobalion fairly well. As he just keeps going for Iron Heads, doing his best he can to get some flinches. As we do see Empoleon finally ending out the game here for Nasu Nidoking. So, we see the win come out. It's going to be a solid 4-0 in the Nidoking's favor. But Zygarde 50, even though it only got 2 kills that match, it was really what led the Seadras to their ultimate, you know, demise here. 2 Dragon Dances up, had the Lumberry in case it got confused for Outrage, or in case it tried to take a status from Toxic or what have you. And I think if I were to play better on both ends for the Nasu Nidokings, that Celesteela, if he preserved it, he definitely could have attained a 5-0 or 6-0 had he played exactly the same and Shempity brought the same team. Now if I was Shempity to maybe not really prioritizing that Blissey as much as other Pokemon and letting it take the dragon hits from that Zygarde 50 and not letting things like Marshtomp get weakened and Fletcher, which seem to be his defensive Pokemon if I had to guess. So that was that. We're going to jump into our fourth and I shouldn't say final match because we do have a bonus match that I'll be talking a little bit after the fourth match, so we'll jump right into it. Alright, coming out for our fourth matchup is going to be Bloody Skarmory, the Vancouver Volcaronas versus Namu, which is, I believe, Apollo M, coach of the Portland Thunderous. Now, don't get tripped up by in-game names too much. Essentially, if you look at the teams, you can tell that Casey is the Vancouver Volcaronas and Namu is the Portland Thunder. So, Casey decides to bring a little bit of his B team here with a little bit of his A team. We see the Nidoqueen, the Mega Gyarados, the Mew, and the Haxorus, but we don't see... We see other variants of Pokemon such as the Lantern and the Escavalier. So no Volcarona, no Togekiss, no Miltank, and no Galvantula. This is a very crucial points to that team, as we see the Portland Thunderous bringing what seems to be it relatively its A team as well. We see the Garchomp come out. This is going to be week 1 for Garchomp, so things to note there. We don't see the Ferrothorn to complement Rotom Wash, but Rotom Wash is there with the Mega Beedrill. Crocodile obviously looks like it's going to be, judging by the rest of his team, a defensive variant with Intimidate, maybe to slow things down, such as the Gyarados or the Haxorus. Take those hits, even the Escavalier, a little bit easier. Lycanroc for priority, that is the Dusk variant, so a Cellrock is going to be able to get some damage off. I could see why each team brought exactly what it brought. Maybe if I was the Portland Thunderous and I saw the Vancouver Volcaronas, maybe a Metagross set might have been nice to bring, just because it handles some of his offensive threats a little bit better outside that Nidoqueen in the Volcarona. But nevertheless, let's jump right into it. So, if I had to predict leads, Mew, we don't really know what it wants to do. I could see Nidoqueen coming out for a nice Stealth Rock. Like I said, whenever I predict leads, I just look at essentially who's the Stealth Rockers, as you know, some coaches do opt to try and just get their Stealth Rocks up turn 1 and gain some momentum later on in the match. Krook's a good Stealth Rocker. Lycanroc can Stealth Rock. Garchomp can Stealth... actually, I don't believe Garchomp can Stealth Rock. I shouldn't say things like that. But maybe another Rotom lead coming out for week 2 with the Rotom Wash. I could see that lead, just to get a slow pivot off. And yeah, let's jump into it. No, I said this once already, but if you guys are enjoying the video, make sure to like, and if you guys want to keep up with the fan docs and with all the matches, you know, follow the Discord and follow the fan document, the sheets. It's in the link in the description below. All you have to do is click on it. I promise you, you know, we're all friendly. It'd be nice. So we see the Hariyama lead, most likely with the fake out, as we do see the Mew come right back out. He doesn't want to be taking that. Very interesting. As we see the straight up knockoff, that's going to be doing some damage. We don't see any Flame Orb set on the Hariyama, so I don't know if it's going to be Guts, or I believe it's Iron Fist is its other ability, and Thick Fat. Those are 3 abilities there. So Krook is going to come out on the switch of Nidoking, getting its Intimidate off. Not really going to matter because it's going to be a special variant most likely anyway. As we see Lancer, the Escavalier, come out for the Earthquake, but instead he's going to get up his Stealth Rock because he's saying, you know what, I think I'm going to force a switch out here. Let's just get up my own rocks. I'm not threatened by anything. As Hariyama is most likely going to try and take whatever Escavalier hit is going to come off. So the knockoff, we're going to see, doesn't do a lot but the Assault Vest. So Hariyama is rocking 4 moves and it just wants to click hard and take some hits. So, good set on Volcarona's side of the field there too, or I'm sorry, the Thunderous side of the field, just trying to get some damage off, as knockoff doesn't do nearly as much as he maybe would have liked to against this Mew. Yeah, so that did do a lot of damage though. Leads us to believe that it is some sort of defensive Mew with Defog. To say it time and time again, the Soft Boil comes off. Mew is predominantly forced into a defensive role, as wow, it took that Stone Edge like a champ, and we do see the miss on Will-O-Wisp, so a little bit unfortunate because that Lycanroc wouldn't have appreciated that had it connected. On Vancouver's side at least, Portland I'm sure is ecstatic. I wonder if that's a banded Lycanroc, because that Stone Edge did a ton of damage. I understand that's Tough Claws boosted, but a lot of switching in and out. This Krook forcing a lot of switches. We did see that it was Intimidate. We're going to see if an Earthquake comes out. It does. So Vancouver, you know, really gaining initiative by not evolving Gyarados, making sure that it has that immunity to ground, as Mega Gyarados is gonna just Mega Evolve here as Portland switches out into his Rotom Wash, trying to take this maybe Waterfall coming his way. Mold Breaker comes out, so he can hit him with grounded moves if he decides to go that route, but we do see a Dragon Dance instead, so he's just gonna go straight for the sweep. And we see, you know, Earthquake just one-shot this Rotom Wash, so there's a reason why Mega Gyarados is such a threatening mon now in competitive format. So Krook is going to go for that superpower, is going to be able to one-shot, so we do see that it was Choice Scarf Crocodile with Intimidate. Wow, good bring from the Portland Thunderous. Superpower isn't going to be able to one-shot this Genie, so he knows that he has to switch out. He goes on to Beedrill. I don't think that Beedrill wants to be taking a burn, if I say so myself, and I don't think he can one-shot a full Mew after that Soft Boil. But Volcarona's, regardless, he's like, I'm not risking it. I'm going out into Lancer. I know I can Hard Bolt this Beedrill. As Beedrill is going to stay in a Mega Evolve, we're going to see if it's packing the U-turn or something else. As we do see the U-turn come out, so good prediction on Portland's end, trying to keep up its momentum. As Vancouver is saying, you know what, I'm going to keep Mew healthy, and I'm going to make sure that I'm going to do my best to climb my way through here. So, still 5 on 5, a lot of switching left, and playing the doubles game here, going back in to Beedrill as Lantern hits the field for the first time on the Thunderous side. As Beedrill U-turns, wow, that did an enormous amount of damage to Lantern. That leads me to believe that maybe it's not rocking HP investment. Potentially. Maybe it's an offensive. We see the Scald come out, and wow, that Scald did a ton of damage. So the Stealth Rocks come back out in exchange for Krook. So Beedrill is going to be able to one-shot this with the U-turn. Yep. So U-turn comes back out, but now that leaves Portland stuck in the back, having to send in, I don't even know what that is, Lycanroc again. All right, so Lycanroc comes back out, as we do see the Nidoqueen come back out. So Lycanroc most likely can't one-shot the Nidoqueen. Goes for the Drill Run, and it does one-shot. Wow, oh, it was a critical hit. I'm sure that critical hit had to have mattered, because Nidoqueen is one of those bulky son of a guns here. Mew's going to be able to take 2 of these Drill Runs and be able to Will-O-Wisp. And he's saying, you know what, I want the damage on Mew. And we see the second Will-O-Wisp miss of the match. So Mew's longevity is no more, as Lycanroc is going to be able to clean house here. But Haxorus is going to come out, so that's going to be able to force this Lycanroc potentially out. I think, yeah, he still has 2 left for Vancouver. As he goes for the Dragon Dance, so he's going for the sweep right here. Dragon Dance Haxorus is one of those Pokemon that you don't want to face. I'm surprised he wanted to save Lycanroc. Most likely he has a Cell Rock then to be able to one-shot later. So the Outrage just decimates a Harry Armor, right? So Vancouver goes right back into the Lycanroc, so he most likely has a Cell Rock. He just wanted to switch up his moves. A Cell Rock comes out, gets rid of the Haxorus, and Vancouver's down to 1 Pokemon, and it is going to be that Lancer that can't think of its name right now, even though it's right in front of me. The Escavalier. So we see the Escavalier going to be able to knock out this Lycanroc, but I think it's too weak to handle the Garchomp. And yes, we do see the Garchomp come back out, and that looks like it is going to be it's going to be game here as an Earthquake comes out, one-shots. A nice 2-0 in Portland's favor. Obviously, those misses on Will-O-Wisp. It's, you know, it's the game we play. It's unfortunate, and I have to say that, you know, it's one of those moves. It's 90% accurate. It's going to miss sometimes, and for it to miss like that, though, I have to feel for Vancouver. I do, but nevertheless, that was the all 4 matchups this week. I do want to make a disclaimer too. I am just one person, and I try to do the best that I possibly can in these videos. And if I miss something, if you guys think that I'm favoring one coach over the other, if you guys think that I am doing things wrong, let me know in the description of the video. Call me out. Say, hey, that was a terrible way to announce that game because I thought they played like this and they did better. You know, those are the types of things that makes competitive Pokemon great. It's opinionated, it's debate. You know, I might have thought those were good moves for one coach, and that's why I just brought it up. I'm trying to do the best that I can as one person, so please, you have to just like understand that, and you have to, you know, just let me know that I'm doing something wrong, and I won't take it, you know, I won't take it as bad as you think I will. Trust me. You know, I would rather have constructive criticism over people just stop watching the videos because I'm saying dumb things. I think it's a dumb approach to go about it. You know how that feels? So I'm gonna set up the layout for one more match, as it was played on Showdown because it was a bonus match. And now I know what you're thinking, like, bonus match, what do you mean? We saw 4 matches. You already told us that there was 1 match missed due to a coach not being able to make it this weekend. And of course, the Fall Over Flames and the San Antonio Espers were the 2 coaches that came into the league for week 2. As week 1 we had 2 coaches drop out of the league. A little bit unfortunate, it really was. But Azazel and of course the San Antonio coach Espers, coached by Colin, he is, you know, they both stepped up to the plate. They redesigned their teams. We'll be talking about that later, and they showed off against each other. So I'm trying to do the best that I can to cover everything, and I will have this layout set up, and we'll be right back. Alright, and we are here, the week 1 remake, I guess, matchup for the 2 coaches here. Azazel, of course, is the coach of the Fall Over Flames. You saw them in one of the videos for week 2 already, as Cool Me Down Bee is the coach Colin, of course, for the San Antonio Espers, and his second week matchup, of course, was the one that was delayed. So we'll talk about that whenever the docs come back out. But just note that these are the teams that they decided to bring. I didn't really have the layout ready in time for this match just because it was last minute. I didn't know I'd be covering it in the video, but I gotta give them some love, right, for playing the game. But nevertheless, let's jump into it. So we see both coaches. We see the Dusclops, the Weavile, the Scissor. We see literally the same team as we did for Azazel in the week 2, although no gosh diggity darn, forget what he brought. He didn't bring Electros the first time, that's all I know. So we do see the Slurpuff coming up with the Crest, the Lucario, Skarmory, Milotic, and Slacking. So 2 steel types. We got Slurpuff here, one of those great Pokemon who can set up sticky webs. So we're going to see if it's a defensive Slurpuff or if it's one of those Belly Drum variants trying to sweep late game. I'm assuming because of the priority in Scissor, it leads me to believe that it's more of a defensive Pokemon. Cresselia is just one of those Pokemon that you just never want to face. It's a Cresselia, and of course Slacking. So we're going to see all these Pokemon in action. Let's do it. I'm going to play it in really slow motion. If I think it's too slow, we'll jump into something else. It looks like it is going to be a little bit slower than what I anticipated. So we'll just go into regular slow motion, but we see the tier 5 Slacking come out, throwing off a Toxic. So Toxic Slacking, interesting set. Going to be able to knock off its Choice Scarf. Obviously, using a Choice Scarf with Slacking is pretty necessary because of its True-On ability. So Electros is going to take advantage of that. It's going to be able to Volt Switch out. Goes out into Scissor. Now I think Slacking will be able to still outspeed Scissor, but he's just going to say, I'm not risking it. I think Slacking's more worth it. That Bullet Punch does come out as the Skarmory just eats it like a champ, right? So Skarmory is going to set up its own Stealth Rocks. Electros comes back out. It's most likely going to force the Skarmory out. Yes, we do. We see the Slurpuff come in and take the electric move, the Thunderbolt, and it doesn't want to take 2, but we do see the Citrus Berry come off, so I wonder if it was a setup variant or not. The Unburden comes off. We see the Cotton Guard. Wow, so it is here to set up its defense and take some hits a little bit better as the Scissor comes out. We're going to see what Toasted decides to do. The Bullet Punch, even though it had the Cotton Guard, wow. So +3 defense and still... +3 defense and still Bullet Punch from a Scissor. That leads me to believe that it is banded the way that it's been clicking moves here. And we can see the skull burn off on Clefable, and it does take the burn, which means that it is unaware Clefable. So some interesting things to note there. Slacking comes out, is going to be able to take it, but the heal bell, so it looks like it's going to be a cleric, you know, one of those Roberts, one of those Clefables that just wants to sort of stay in here and do the best that it can. Not going to be able to take the slacking return very well, but at the end of the day, it is going to take out the slacking with 2 Moonblasts. So, Azazel does have the upper hand here, with 2 Mons already down against Colin, coach of the San Antonio Espers. So, see Lucario come in, regular Lucario, not Mega Lucario, of course, that'd be banned and broken as all heck. And we see the Meteor Mash come off. It's a brand new move, it just got as a move tutor in Generation 7, in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, of course. And the Mummy does force it out. We see the Toxic come off, that's going to hinder this Dusclops' longevity, of course. And Milotic is one of those Pokemon with the burn. I'm assuming it does have a competitive boost because of the burn. Pretty interesting stuff there. Pretty interesting stuff. Let me know if you think that actually here. You know what I'll do? I'll get rid of the boxes and see if that looks a little bit more professional. It probably will. So Moonduck does decide to come out. It is going to take that hit like a champ. Shell Shock comes out. I wonder if it's going to be rocking something like the Dark Pulse for coverage. As Cool Me Down, he's just like, you know what, I'm going to take this opportunity to switch into Milotic and see what it wants to do. As it does decide to get rid of those rocks. Although Skarmory is still alive, so we'll see if it wants to set up rocks again. Making the double prediction, we see the Scissor come out. Forcing out this Milotic, as we do think that it is banded. As a knockoff comes out, it is a critical hit. That critical hit is going to matter for a 2-shot. As the Rocky Helmet, we do see the Rocky Helmet, but the Roost comes off, so we know that it is a faster Skarmory than Scissor. So this Scissor is going to be able to switch out yet again. It's most likely rocking max HP, max attack, banded set, if I had to guess. And Skarmory is just one of those Pokemon where if you don't really have the right Pokemon to deal with it, it can just take these hits like a champ. Thunderbolt is going to be a 2-shot. I'm surprised that he stayed in to take the Thunderbolt, but he goes right on to Moonduck. He says, I'm not taking another one, right? Even though it does 30% to a Cresselia. As we see, Cresselia does have the Moonlight here. And this Electros is putting in the finest of work against Colin's team at this point in time. We do see the Calm Mind eventually come out from Moonduck, so revealing that it is a setup variant of Milotic very early on. As Skarmory is most likely going to roost here, try and keep as healthy as possible. So Azazel, you know, it's been keeping up the pressure the entire game. Slowly getting weakened though, as Milotic and Cresselia and Skarmory, all 3 of them just have the ability to live and live and live with recovers and moonlights and roosts, and it makes it for a long game, right? We're already on turn 31. Now, I do have to say, this is one of the reasons why I kind of don't like Showdown. It just forces stallier games, and I'm not saying this on, you know, a specific coach, I'm saying this in general, right? Like, you're a little more careless when you make the moves in Showdown, and the games just become longer. We saw our longest game on the DS was 40 turns, and judging by the Pokemon left, I highly doubt this is going to end in the next 6 turns. So, just throwing that sort of tidbit of knowledge out there. We see the Ice Beam come out from Shell Shock. Not going to be able to break this, bird, as he's just going to try and spam Stealth Rocks. He doesn't want them off the field. He knows that Shell Shock can Rapid Spin, so he's just going to stay in as long as he can. He can take any 2 hits because he's already burned. And yeah, this is where you see, like, there's a lot of roosting up on the moves. He knows he can stay in, take any hit. He's going to switch out into Milotic though, take these Skulls a little bit better. As the Rapid Spin finally does come out. Good read on Azazel's end. on Fall Arbor's end, of course, as Electros decides to come right back out, fearing that Milotic's going to recover up. He needs to get as much damage off as possible, and the switch comes out, and a Thunderbolt is just going to straight up bop this Skarmory. So Electros sitting pretty, as Lucario does decide to come out. Close combat is going to be able to knock it out. There was a critical hit. I don't know if that critical hit mattered. I'm sure it was probably a roll on either side depending on what spread that Electros was running. The Milotic is now going to be able to switch in and out. We don't have the Skarmory though to take some hits. Clefable window is weakened. Blastoise is still healthy. As Clefable does decide to come out, the Toxic's going to come onto it. If it doesn't Heal Bell, it's going to be knocked out this turn. We're going to see if a Scald comes out for Milotic, or if he's going to want to recover up. Yep, there goes the Scald, and that's going to knock out Clefable. So Clefable's going down, and Blastoise we know is weakened. Mummy we know is toxic, right? It did have the Heal Bell, so I don't know if he got it off in time or not. But the Bullet Punch, the Scissor is low, and the Weavile we haven't even seen hit the field yet. So Lucario is going to be able to take the Bullet Punch, not as well as he may have liked, because of that bandit damage, but yeah, you see Mummy, it's not going to be able to take the hit. There was a close combat, but he's not going to be able to live two of whatever is coming his way. Meteor Mash comes off. We're going to see, does he get the attack raise? He doesn't get the attack raise. A little bit unfortunate. I shouldn't say a little bit unfortunate, but we have seen this entire game Colin, coach of the San Antonio Espers, try and get that attack raise. So Moonlight comes out as a Dark Pulse comes off, so revealing that he does have Dark Pulse, but not going to be able to really hurt him that much, as Moonduck is going to try and set up with some Calm Minds here. We're going to see if he's packing the coverage to knock out a Scissor or not, or if he's going to have to switch yet again. So the Psychic comes out, not going to be able to one-shot the Scissor at that health that it is. Bug Bite, oh, that did some massive damage. And Psychic is now going to eventually knock it out. But Weavile is going to come out now and scare this Moonduck out. Most likely goes out into Lucario. Oh, decides to stay in. Takes the fake out fairly well. Maybe he was just sacking off Cresselia at this point. Yep, he just decides to sack it off. He fears that he can do a little bit better if he keeps his team healthy. So he goes on to Milotic, not Lucario. I'm a little bit surprised. I would think that Bullet Punch would be able to knock out Krampus at this point, but or Krampus, whatever you want to call it. And we see Milotic just taking these knockoffs like a champ. Like a champ. So there's going to be a keep spamming of knockoff. Either that's his best way of hitting this Milotic, or he's locked into something. I don't really know. Oh wait, I believe we did see the weak fake out come out, so we do know that he's not locked out, and we do see that he is Life Orb. I don't know why I even said that. Disregard all my commentating for this entire video, because I clearly can't read items well. I have that problem. So Scald's gonna come out. I don't think Blastoise or Weavile is going to be able to weaken this Milotic. At this point, it's going to keep going for Dark Pulse. In fact, we're already on turn 62. I'm going to start clicking some next turns. Lucario comes out to take Dark Pulse, trying to get a Justify boost. It does. It does get a Justify boost. But I don't think that matters, because at the end of the day, Milotic is going to be able to come in. So, close combat, knocks out Shell Shock. Weavile's going to be able to come in, and if he doesn't have Bullet Punch here, he's just going to get destroyed by Weavile. But he decides to save it for differential purposes. He knows that he can outwin this Krampus here. And see, knockoffs just come off, as there was just, you know, recovers and Scalds coming out for Milotic. So Milotic's going to take it, and it is going to be a 2-0 victory for Colin in the San Antonio Spurs. So interesting match, right? Almost went 70 turns. That's honestly, this is what I was talking about a little bit earlier. The highest turned game on the DS was 40, and this was starting to creep up to almost double its amount. So at the end of the day, though, great match from both coaches. And Azazel, of course, had the momentum at the beginning. He let Electros, I think, go down a little bit too early because it did handle Milotic, it did handle Skarmory, and I think he kind of needed it at the end there to pull out the W. So, good game from both coaches. We're going to jump into the sheets right now, and I will be back. As you can see the sheets here, we're just going to predominantly look at the trades that happened, as you can kind of see them all go down in the free agency transaction, and the new coaches, and just overall standings in the league. So the C playoffs are updated to current time, same with the CPL standings. You can see Kansas City isn't really starting off too great. That last matchup, the 0-5, did really hurt them, but at the end of the day, any coach can climb back here. I think Pip, Atlanta Arcanines, he's 0-2, but he's one of those competitive battlers that I think will easily show himself later on in the league. And there are a few coaches, 3 to be exact, that only have 1 game recorded. Or, I'm sorry, there are 2 coaches that still don't have a game recorded, and that is the San Antonio Espers and the Seattle Super Skeptiles, and I'll cover that really quickly. Essentially, the coach of the Seattle Super Skeptiles wasn't able to play this week, so we're not going to fault San Antonio Espers for that, of course. It'll be a late matchup, and I'm sure it'll be covered next week if it does decide to get made up. So let's jump into the free agency transactions. Now, I want to necessarily focus on the San Antonio Espers and the Fall Arbor Flames. So we'll jump into the San Antonio Espers. They dropped... Oh, their free agency is not working. Okay, that is fantastic. I'll have to look at that a little bit later. But essentially, they dropped Como-O and picked up Landorus. They dropped Toxapex and picked up Milotic. They dropped Mismagius and picked up Druddigon. And then they dropped a Ghost type. They dropped one other Pokemon for Oricorio All, and that gives them all the Oricorio types. A lot of good moves on their end. I know they weren't happy whenever they came in to pick up the team that they had to pick up, but we're going to see how they continue to fare out in the season, of course. A nice 2-0 win for them to start, as we do check into the Fall Arbor Flames, who should be, yes, their free agency is working well, so I'll have to go back and see what the issue was there. But essentially, we have Mismagius. Yeah, they were the one that had Mismagius. Alright, so Mismagius was dropped for Electros, I can't speak. Simisear for Dusclops, Magnezone for Salazzle, Sylveon for Necrozma. So, all of those trades really play into and help out Mega Lopunny in the long run, right? Necrozma is just one of those Pokemon that can take hits for days, same with Dusclops. Can take those fighting hits, Electros can take those flying hits, and Salazzle is just a faster Pokemon hitting base 117 speed that can really benefit well. We see all these knockoff users, we see Electros providing Volt Turn, and we do see the Necrozma being a second Stealth Rocker to the team. So, with all that said, I know this is a very long video, but if you guys made it through and you guys liked everything that happened, let me know. If you guys have any criticism, please throw it down, because I want people to rather watch these videos than stop watching them because they think that my commentating is poor. And of course, if you're new, make sure to subscribe, and all the links are going to be down in the description below. Like I said, just follow them. I promise you our Discord isn't going to bite. You know, we're relatively friendly. We do jab at each other a little bit, but it's all friendly banter, I promise. And of course, that is it for the CPL Week 2 recap, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.